we'll be doing a weightless class, meaning we don't have any weights, and we'll also try to really pull the weight of our body and the weight of gravity away, right? So that we're lifted and we're feeling tall and we're feeling weightless. So we're going to come to seated at the front of our mat. Sitting yourself back and down onto your hips, right? We're right into our ab work. So from here, reaching those hands forward, start to rock and roll, tucking and lifting. Think of spreading your low back down onto the mat. I'm squeezing my legs together, trying to keep them engaged, keep them working just that little bit. 3. Last 2. Almost there. Last 1. And curl it up. Go ahead and gently pour yourself all the way down, nice and long. Hands come along beside you, feet walk sits bone distance apart, in line, right, with those hips. Go ahead, take an easy breath. Exhale, curl. Start to lift it up and pour it straight back down. So same thing like our seated roll downs, right? But now it's just that the hips are moving and the shoulder girdle is holding still. Let's do 4. And let it melt. Last 3. We're still massaging our spine. Last 2. And last 1. And gently pour it down. Keep that pelvis level. Think that you've sort of just set it, right onto the mat. It's soft. Rib cage is soft. You have a little curvature underneath your navel at your lumbar spine. Hands will stay beside you and bring your legs to tabletop. Notice that we didn't dump into the low back or we didn't collapse into that lumbar spine. There's still just that little bit of space. Reach your arms up towards the ceiling. We take an easy inhale here. On your exhale, fold at your bra line. Rib cage connection. Curl and soften back and down. Think about sinking the mid-rib wall down into the mat underneath you. Last one, we're going to stay lifted, hold here. We're going to move into our hundreds with just more of a controlled breathing, right? So I want you to float the hands up towards the knees and press. Reaching, good. Like you're pressing down on 2 really big magic circles beside you, right? Kick the legs up towards the ceiling. Maybe they start to lower. Good, let's do 5, 4, 3, last 2, and 1. Hold a beat. Bend to tabletop, curl into a nice tight ball. Give a little stretch through the base of your skull and gently start to lay it all the way back down, right? So from here, hands come back along beside you. The knees can stay into your chest, whatever works. We're going to work into our rollover now. So you can stay in more of a tight ball if you need it to help use a little bit of momentum to figure out how to lift your hips, right? So we took your tabletop weight on the knees to a float, right? Now we're in a supine, weight of the pelvis to float, right? So kind of that same play, deep to the core. Start to think about lifting the layers and giving me a little rock. So think about the wheel of your pelvis is turning. And last 2. And last 1, pressing down into those hands. Let's add on, if you would like. Legs will kick up towards the ceiling. Take an easy inhale. Maybe they start to float away a little bit. Exhale, start to lift. And maybe the hips come up. And then gently start to pour it back down. Hug close to the spine. Think of your standing roll down, right? 1 vertebra at a time. If you'd like, last 3 we're going to do is add the legs. Curl and lift. Fold the feet back to the floor behind you. Flex at your ankles. Open 6 inches and gently start to pour your spine back down with control. When the pelvis settles, circle the legs out and around. Lift. Twice more. Flex. Open. Gently pour your spine down. Circle. And last one. Flex. Open. Gently pour your spine down. 1 rib One vertebra at a time, circle. Let's bend to tabletop. And from here, step your feet back down and lengthen them all the way out. Take just a moment. Arms are going to reach up and back towards the wall behind you. Now for our roll up. Easy inhale. Exhale, nod the chin to the chest. Lift the layers of abdominals. Curl the wheel of your pelvis. Drag your heels across the mat. Feel the back of your legs turn on. Fold. Gently pour yourself back down. Just like this. Little flow here. 3. Lifting up and over. And pouring yourself back down. Keep the shoulders quiet. Think about the spinal articulation again. 2. Legs are active. Stretch them away from you. And last one. Curling, curling, curling. Up, up, up and over. Stretch and fold. Gently stack yourself up to tall seated. And take a moment. All right. So make sure you're in the middle of your mat. All right. So in the middle of your mat, I like to walk sort of my butt cheeks out from underneath me. So I feel like I have both the right and the left sit bone pretty firmly anchored. Let's go ahead and open those arms to the T. We're going to play with our twist. Stretch the heels away from you. Make the legs still active. As we take a nice easy inhale, give me 2 little pulses to the right. Exhale all the way to the left. Good, inhaling. Little pulses right to left. Inhaling. Let's do twice more. As you twist, think of the opposite sit bone. Think of the opposite heel. All the way back to center. Bring the hands behind your head. Same idea, just a little different connection. Push your head back into your hands so that you're growing tall through the spine. Everybody's going to take an inhale as we rotate to the right. We're going to go a little slower here. Where's your left sit bone? I want you to drop your left elbow to the left knee. So your left side is shortening as we're stretching open through our right side. Do you feel that weight into your left sit bone? Stack yourself back up. Keep the weight into that left sit bone. Lift and arch towards your right knee. Keeping the weight back into that left sit bone. Stacking yourself back up nice and tall through center. Turn to the left. Up and over towards the right. You're shortening the right side of your body to stretch open through the left. Feel the weight of your right sit bone. Stacking it back up. Stay heavy in that right sit bone. Lift up and over towards the left knee. Stacking it back up. Let's do that once more. Through center. It's a little bit more controlled here. We're thinking of spiraling around that central axis of our spine and lifting like we're arching through the ribs and the waist. Left elbow, left knee. Stacking it back up. Stay heavy in that left sit bone. Lift up and over, pulling your rib cage back. Think of your roll up. Think of your standing roll down. All the way back up. Think of your bridge work. Through center, twist to the left, up and over towards the right. Feel the weight of that right sit bone. Stacking it back up nice and tall. Ooh. Lift up and over. Big arch, big Pacific wave. And stacking it all the way back up through center. Open those arms out. Go ahead and bring the hands behind you for our day at the beach. Lifting up through the heart, taking a little bit of a stretch. Try to open those elbow pits. Wrap the shoulders back and down. Stretch. We're going to do the same thing with our saw, still thinking of the pelvis. So start to float your weight off of that left hand, like you're reaching up, like in a kid in class. Pick me, pick me, pick me. Stay heavy in that left sit bone as you start to turn, twisting to saw off your left little pinky toe. I want you to push into your right hand just a little bit to get some energy going forward and back. And then stack it back up nice and tall, circling that left arm open. Right arm floats up. Stay heavy in that right sit bone as you stretch across your body, sawing off your left little pinky toe. Maybe a little push into that left hand to shift that body weight forward. And then back up. Let's do that again. Circling. So we've slowed it down just a little bit, really focusing on the weight of our pelvis and the stretching through the ribs and the spine. Woo! Lengthening out from behind your shoulders, stacking it back up. We've got once more to the left. Left hand is heavy. Right sit bone is heavy. Push into your left hand just a little bit, as though you're shifting your weight to the right sit bone and forward. All the way back, up. Both hands come behind your body again, little lift of the heart. And then carefully start to shift your weight off of those fingertips, bringing yourself all the way back forward. Good. We're going to roll to the right, laying ourselves down onto the right side of our body. Bring yourself up onto your hand so that we're starting to prop ourselves up just a little bit. I'd like you to then flex at the foot, kick it forward, 1, 2, pull it back, 1, 2, and flex, 2, and point, 2, and flex, 2. So the heel is as high as the knee, which is as high as the hip. Notice if the whole body is swinging here. We're going to try to isolate it really kind of from the femur bone down. A little bit of movement in my waist and ribs. That's okay. Last 2. Last 1. Trying to hold that spine relatively still. Hold it. Start to pick yourself up just a little bit more so that now you're more balanced on the elbow and the right leg only. Notice if the shoulder's up into your ear. From here, we're going to bicycle. So I want you to pull that left leg behind you, opening the eye of your hip crease. Kick the heel to the bottom, pull the knee into your chest, and then extend the leg long, staying balanced on that right elbow. Reach, bend, fold, extend. So here we're opening the eye of your hip crease. Then hamstring curl, hip flexion, hamstring extension, hip extension. Good, we've got 4 more. Pulling, in, extending, all the way back. Last 3. Pulling, in, extending. So are you sinking into that right shoulder? Can you pull up out of your right shoulder? Think of your right obliques. Let's do once more. Pulling, in, extending, all the way back out. Very good. From here, gently start to pick yourself up just a little higher. Now we're on the forearm, and that left foot will come in front. So now we're going to grab onto that left ankle. Right leg is going to go back to your extension. Pull up through the right shoulder, and then lift that right leg up. Right? Just a little up and down. Think a little bit like that big toe is on a string, right? And so that string is like attached to your navel. And you're pulling on that string, which is lifting the foot. We've got 4 more. Last 3. Give me 2. And last 1. Hold. Can we bring our left foot onto the inside of our right thigh? Now, remember how we were pulling the weight out of our knees, pulling the weight out of our hips? Same thing. I want you to pull the weight out of your right thigh, out of the left leg, so that you can float the bottom leg up. Same thing, right? Left hand can come down onto the mat, right? Wherever it helps, giving yourself just a little balance assist. We've got 5 more. So I want you to push the bottom leg into the top. Last 2. And last 1, beautiful, and soften and release. Your left hand is going to grab onto the shin. The right arm is going to fold up and over, and we're going to stretch into the side body. Let's move into a little twist. You're going to take an inhale, so you're going to peek out from underneath your right elbow. And then exhale, you're going to spiral down and reach away on a diagonal. Maybe a little squeeze of those thighs together. Inhale as you peek out. Exhale as you spiral down. Again, inhale as you peek out. Exhale. I want you to think you're stretching the front of your ribs as you peek out from underneath. And then the back of your ribs as you reach down. Gently back to the side and pick yourself all the way up. Hands can come behind you if you'd like as you gently rock the legs to the other side. Good. So stretching the legs out long. We lay all the way back down onto our side. Working yourself up onto your hands, right? Flexing through the foot. Kick the forward 1, 2. Point it back 1, 2. And flex 2. And point 2. And flex 2. And point 2. Keep the heel as high as the knee, as high as the hip. Again, watch if your whole shoulder girdle is wobbling, right? So we don't want to fall backwards or fall forwards. We want to think we're relatively still, and that leg is like a pendulum swinging. 3. Last 2. Last 1. Reach it back. Good. Stay long for me. Gently start to prop yourself up onto the elbow if you would like. This is working the shoulder and the obliques just a little bit, right? Hand can come behind the head if you'd like. As we move into our bicycle, pull the leg behind you. Hamstring curl. Knee comes into the chest. There's your hip flexion. Then extend. There's your hamstring stretch. And pull it all the way back. There's your hip extension. And keep going, bicycling. Good. You can make it as big as you'd like as long as you maintain control through the shoulders and rib cage. Notice if that left shoulder is creeping up into your ear. That's not quite what we want, right? Really think about widening your collarbones, floating up out of your left elbow, right? That sense of weightlessness. We've got twice more. Keeping the leg level. Big brush strokes. And last one. I'm actually skimming the wall behind me, so I know how far back I'm going each time. And then pull it all the way back and gently place that foot in front, propping yourself up onto your elbow. So lift up out of that left shoulder. There's that sense of weightlessness. This is pulled up. Left leg is going to lengthen. You're going to hold on to your ankle. And then that left leg is going to lift and lower. This is that marionette on a string, right? Like a puppet. Pull from the navel, the back of your core, the left foot up. We've got 5, 4, 3, last 2, and 1. Good, set it back down. Bring the foot onto the inside of your thigh. Now, if this is way too high, you can always bring it onto the calf. Just don't put it right onto the knee, right? And then same thing. Pull the weight out of that right leg so that the left leg can press up and down. Good. Widen your collarbones. Lift up. We've got 5, 4, 3, last 2, and last 1. And soften. Right hand grabs onto the right shin. Oh, there we go. And side bend. Good. We move to the twist on this side. So now I'd like you to take an inhale as you spiral down. Send the breath to the back of your left ribs. Exhale as you peek up. 3 more. Inhale. The right arm is there to assist you. So give a gentle pull against that right shin to help you stretch over towards the right side. Can we do 1 more? And exhale. All the way back up. Good. Now we'll go ahead and tip, coming all the way down onto the mat. Legs will lengthen out long behind you. Good. We're going to move into a twist, continuing that sensation through the upper body. Hands will make a pillow. We'll rest our forehead on the pillow. Legs can be comfortable, whether that's parallel, baby V, wide second, whatever you would like. I might keep my head lifted every now and then just so you can hear me better. But you're going to rest your forehead on your hands, right? And right away, I actually want you to think we're focused more sort of at the base of the skull. It's like where a masseuse might gently, pull the head and neck to lengthen your spine. That's kind of where I want us to create this sense of length. So from a tucked position, so your head is down, your nose is down, I want you to think a little bit that you're going to kind of slide your chin back as though you're giving yourself a triple chin. So you're sort of, again, long in the cervical spine. Slide the sits bones down towards the heels, just a little bit. So you're in a slight posterior tuck so that your low back stays long. Shoulder girdle does not do anything. Do not do this. Do not use the shoulder girdle to do this exercise. I want you to float, there's that weightlessness, float the head off of the hands to translate the weight of your skull back as though you're pressing it into the ceiling above you. And then gently just set the forehead back down. So you're pulling the chin kind of back into the neck as though you're giving yourself a triple chin, and then soften, right? Notice we don't lift the head, neck, and chest. We actually stay looking down and slide the base of the skull as though you're shifting the weight back and up into the ceiling above you. Let's do twice more. Shoulder girdle is soft. We're not doing anything in the shoulders yet. And then soften. And now I'd like you to glue your forehead to your hands. So now the unit of your head, hands, forearms are going to lift up off of the mat, right? Same connection. We don't look up. I want you to make your arms weightless. Bring the forearms up off the mat and then soften it back down. Lifting and lowering. Now slide those sits bones down the back of your thighs so that your low back stays long. You may immediately start to feel the whole body kick on, right? Shifting. You're bringing the weight of the forearms, the head, floating it off the mat. Let's do 4. Almost there. 3. Good. Notice if you're pinching in your low back, you may be kicking it up too high. Last one. Stay here for a minute. We go back to a little twist. You're not turning your cervical spine. You're turning the rib cage as your left elbow taps down. You're like turning to peek out from underneath your elbow and center. Right elbow taps down, twist, and center. Left elbow taps down, twist, and center. Right elbow and center. Little back and forth. Slide the sits bones towards your back pockets. Lift the layers of abdominals. Keep the shoulders quiet. Last one each. We've got one to the left, center, one to the right. Center, and soften it all the way down. Nice. Let's move into a little bit of a stretch for that shoulder girdle now. You can listen to the mat with your left ear. Bring the hands behind you, interlacing your fingers. They're about kind of just on your sacrum, small low back area. Draw those legs tight together. From here, what I'd like you to do is kick your bottom 3 times. You're going to kick your bottom with your heels. Think of the bicycle. 1, 2, 3, and as you extend the legs long, I want you to slide the hands down the backside, lift through the head, neck, and chest, open the shoulders. It's a little bit like your day at the beach again, right? Like you're lifting through the heart. Now soften and listen with your right ear as you go back to kicking your bottom. 1, 2, 3, press and lift. And soften, back and forth. 1, 2, 3, press and lift. And soften. And again, 1, 2, 3, press and lift. And soften. Last time each, kicking it. 1, 2, 3. Try to open the eyes of your shoulders. The shoulders roll back and down. And last time, 1, 2, 3, press and lift. Wrapping, wrapping, wrapping. And soften everything back and down. Hands come beside your shoulders so that you can press yourself back into a little bit of a child's pose. Walking those knees underneath you. Those fingertips can walk out in front of you as you gently rest your body down onto the mat for about a moment. Take a nice easy inhale. Start to wave your spine back forward. We're going to move into our plank series next. So moving into now full body connection, thinking about pulling the weight of your body out of your wrists, right, so that we don't compress the wrists and the shoulder joints. So standing into those arms, wrap those shoulders back and down, lifting the line of your chest. Think about pulling your weight up out of your wrists, out of your elbows, out of the shoulders. Stretch your right leg back, flexing into the foot. Sink the heel away from you. This is your single arm and leg reach, right? We started with this. Lift the layers, then the left leg goes to meet it, right? Strong, straight spine, looking towards the front of your mat ever so slightly. So you can stay here if you'd like, or join me as we move into our control balance. I want you to point through your right foot. I want you to flex your left against the mat. Point your left so that you're shifting your weight forward a little bit. Flex it, and then plant your right foot back down. Left leg floats up. Right heel drops, lifts, lowers, places it back. Right foot floats, left heel drops, lifts, lowers, place it back. We've got once more. Left leg, drop, lift, lower, and place it back down. Both knees will bend, shift the weight back into that little child's pose and stretch. Woo. Gently wave your heart back forward, turn to face towards me as we move into now our side bend, right? So we're kind of going to come back to what's happening with the shoulder that we were doing in our side lying series. Left hand is firmly planted. Right foot is firmly planted. Now again, you don't have to be really tight into yourself. We're going to press ourselves up into a side bend. So you can kind of walk those legs away from you a little bit, knowing that we're going to arch to the left. This is one thing that we're working on a little bit here, that we don't sink into it, right? Pull the weight up out of the shoulder. You're going to stand into the hand and the left shin, right foot as the right arm lifts, and take a nice side bend, stretching up and over, and then sit back down, right? So lifting up and over, and then sit back down. Let's do that just once more. Lifting up and over, pull your weight out of that left shoulder, and then sit it back down. If you'd like to add on, let's play with it, right? So from here, bring your right foot behind you a little bit, left leg in front of you ever so slightly. You're on the pinky side of your left foot, right? Same thing, you're gonna push, except now it's not the left thigh, it's the 2 feet and your left hand. You're gonna stay up there if you'd like. Press, lengthening those legs out, you're in a side plank, right? So I want you to give just a little dip, reach towards the inside of your left foot, lift up and over. We're gonna do that twice more. Little dip, lift, pull the weight out of that left wrist, up through the waist. Last one, lift, up, up, up. Ooh, and soften and release. Let it all come back down. Again, carefully swing your legs to the other side. So we start now on the right side in our modified side bend, right? So right hand is firmly planted. We're going to use that right shin and the left foot. Left hand will reach. So find the distance that is right for you so that you can press up and find just a side bend. Small, right? But still really good to stretch. Open through the left waist, engage through the right, wrap that right shoulder back and down. Last one like this. And then soften. If you would like, add on. Right leg kicks. Left leg is there, again, pushing into the pinky side of your right foot, inside of your left foot, pressing into the right hand, lift up and over, and find your side plank. So from here, a little bit of a dip, and lift. A little bit of a dip, and lift. Wrap that left shoulder, right shoulder back and down. Last one. And then soften everything back and down. Let it breathe. Turn now to face towards the front of your mat as we get ready for our reverse plank. So we've hit them all, right? So sides, fronts. Now we're going to the back. This is your day at the beach, right? This is that feeling of pulling up out of yourself when you're now facing the front of your room. So a couple cues here. Hands, spiraling, whatever works best for you, right? Traditionally, they kind of actually point forward, which might not be for all of us. Maybe that's just like no-go. So let the hands externally rotate a little bit if you'd like. Wherever you're at, though, you want to be careful you don't start to sink into that shoulder girdle. So there again is that sense of lift, that weightlessness. Pull up out of your wrists, out of your elbows, out of your shoulder girdle. Let's engage the legs. Point through those legs. Reach them away. Think of your bridge work. I want you to start to push into your heels a little bit to curl the wheel of your pelvis to press yourself up. You feel your triceps. You feel that up sensation lifting out of your wrists, out of your elbows, and then gently wrap and set yourself back down. Let's do that again. Tuck, standing into the heels, lifting through the layers, lengthening through the spine, and pour yourself back down. Can we do that twice more? Hold, and gently pour yourself back down. We've got once more. And tuck. Lifting it up. Hold. And pour yourself all the way back down. Let it breathe. Coming off those wrists, you can shake it out. Maybe pour yourself forward if that feels good, stretching into the ribs and the back. And stacking yourself back up. Let's turn to face towards each other. Just a nice, easy seated position. Let's take a focused breath, just kind of turning inward again to sense how we feel. Hopefully right and left sit bone, weight of the pelvis, weight of the rib cage, weight of the head, right? We're not leaning forward, but we're lifting up, feeling weightless in our body. Nice, easy inhale. And exhale completely. Thank you so much. That's class. Thank you, everybody. Stay safe out there. Be well.